So now we are going to talk about the dynamic notebooks. Let me explain this in detail. Okay. So far what we have done, we have a container name as source, and in this container we have couple of directories. Alright, okay. The directories, like we have a directory name as orders, we have directory name as customers, we have directory name as products, we have directory name as regions, right? So inside directory we have two files. First file is for incremental load, initial load, and then second file is for incremental load. Every directory is having that file, correct? We have already seen how to read the data from using Spark, PySpark, okay, from the respective folder. So what we did first, in our previous sessions, we have used Spark streaming method to enable autoloader, okay. And when we are enabling the autoloader, we know the checkpoint location is created, okay, and inside checkpoint location we have something known as a rocksdb folder, okay. And that rocksdb folder and schema location, there are two things, rocksdb folder and schema locations, both are responsible to handle the incremental approach within Databricks. It means rocksdb folder will store current state of any file. For example, if currently I'm having an order file, orders data, orders.parquet, right? This is the data. Now, if I loaded 100 records, right, it will load 100 records using first file. Then imagine in the source, if 20 record has arrived, it will not touch the previous file which is already available in the source location. It will only touch the new file, and that is because the status is recording every time in the rocksdb folder, okay. So for example, if I go to the branch layer in a simple manner, right, this is my branch layer and it is connected, right? So you can see right now, if you see the branch layer, I'm having two files already loaded from the source. These are the two Parquet files. Okay. And if you see the source is also having two Parquet files in the orders directory. I don't have third file. So if I run this Spark stream, if I try to enable this Spark stream, it is written over there. So this is to enable the Spark stream. Okay, so if you see, we will use read stream format cloud files. For Spark stream we are using cloud files format, and within this cloud file format we are passing the value of parquet because we are having parquet file available to store. Then there will be a schema location, and the schema location is presented in the branch layer in checkpoint underscore orders folder. So this will be there. If it is not there, it will create this location. So right now it is already there, right? And it will load the data from source location. So it is giving the data from source location, right? So we will run this obviously. And once it is done, we don't have any schema mismatch. So schema is fine. So before loading, it will first check the schema location. Schema is fine. Okay, and this rescued data, as I already discussed, is a kind of reserve column, reserve structure definition. So if any new thing added, it will adjust. Okay, then we will try to write the data. So once the data we have tried and we know that we don't have any, you can see streaming initialize and then it is stopped. That means it's triggered. Okay. Uh, if you see the previous record, the record was 10,000 because there is a no change. If we rerun this, the count will be same. You can see. The count will be 10,000 only. So there is a no thing. Okay. That's all. Now what we are trying to do, we are trying to extract all the data in a same manner in bronze layer. But for this reason, I don't want to use individual notebooks. I want to create one notebook which will be like dynamic notebook. I want to replicate everything which is available with here in the bronze layer from source layer. This is my objective. Okay. So in this case, my objective is to create dynamic notebook basically. And if you remember, if you remember the classes of Azure Data Factory, we have discussed about parameterization. The concept of parameterization is simple. We are creating parameters, okay, and we are creating parameters for our data sets and for our pipelines. So, and within the pipelines, we have used get metadata activity basically to create list. Then we have used for each activity to pick the entity from that list, and then we are feeding for each within the for each activity we are putting copy activity, and that copy activity is a parameterized activity. So we will do similar kind of object. So there is exactly same thing, but it will be in the form of coding. Okay, so first we should know how to create the parameters. Okay, how to create the parameters. Okay, so to create the parameters, let's first create a new uh, notebook, right? And you can just rename this notebook as just bronze layer, or you can say dynamic dynamic notebook, something like that. Dynamic notebook. Okay, let's see. We have done this. Okay, close. You can create a text and you can write simply dynamic approach. Okay. Okay. So to create a dynamic notebook, what is the first thing we need? We need to create parameters. How to create the parameters? If you go to file, you have an option to once again. Okay. Not files. Go to edit, and you can see there is option to create a parameter. So for example, if you want to create a parameter of file name, what you can do, you can create the parameter like file underscore name. Correct. You can pass the default value also. That's it. So it will become file name parameter. Okay. Similarly, if you want to, let's remove this thing. We have another way of creating parameter, and that is known as parameters are known as widgets. Okay. And we are using dbutils command, database utils command, utils dot widgets. Okay. You can see this is the text. This is the help we are getting widgets. So when we are creating the parameter, we will use this dbutils.widgets.text. Okay, and then we will give the name of the parameter which we are going to create. So what we are going to create, we are going to create file name. It is as same as creating the parameter from edit menu. Okay, and if you want to give any default value, we can give the default value, like our file name is orders, right? I have given the default value as orders. Okay. Or if I don't want to give the default value, what I can make it blank. So it's running. Okay, it's not started. Now it's started. Okay. So you can see a parameter is created with the name known as file name. It is running. It is going to create. Yeah, you can see this file name has created. Okay. If you want to change the value, like if you want to make it customer, you can make it this customer. You can change the value on runtime basis. Okay. And if you want to see what the value is currently this parameter is having, so what you will do, you will use get command. The same command in place of text, if you will type get, it will give you the value. For example, if you want to just check the value, dbutils dot widgets dot get. Okay, you want to check the once again b is missing dbutils. Okay, and if I execute it, what will it will result customer because current value is customer. Correct. Similarly, you can change the value at runtime. You can make it like region. Okay, and if you run this again, it has given you region. Got it? So this is the way how to create a parameter. Fine. So we have to make this parameter used in our data reading. Okay. For example, if you see this bronze layer, okay, we are using this command. Okay. For example, you want to use this command multiple times because right now in a bronze layer you have seen that for reading the order data I have used this command, this programming, and for region data I have again copied this programming and changed the last folder name as regions. To read the data for customer, I again copy and pasted the program and change this region into customer. Only this is changing, right? So if I can make this as a parameterized, right, what will it will make my job easier. Correct. So instead of this orders, what I can do, first of all I should just type this as uh, p underscore file name. Why? Because I'm trying to store the value of this parameter, right? Correct. Let me run this. Okay, so now value is stored in p underscore file name, and instead of orders, if I want to use this as a parameter, I should use as a this curly bracket, and in that I can type the value within this parameter file name. Okay, and before this double quotes I should make it f. F means format string. F is known as format string. So now the system understood that what, because it is f, it means there is a parameter within this string. Within this double quote the parameter is used, and parameter identifier is basically these curly brackets, right? So because right now we have region, I think regions is the correct one. So if I just execute this, what will happen, it will bring the data from regions. You can see it has been the data from region. If I want to see the data from customer, I can simply write customers and I can execute this command again. This time same programming will give you the results for customer. You can see how impressive it is, right? If you want to see the data for orders or for organization, I think organization is also there, or not organization, it's products. Okay, products, we have a products folder. So if I run the same thing for product, we can see the result for product. These are the products, product ID, product name. Correct. So this is how we can use our parameter within the program. Okay, so I should make this thing notebook as how to create parameter parameters, right? Okay, Now what is next? We should create a dynamic pipeline. Okay. So far we have seen how to read the data, but to create a dynamic pipeline, what we should do, we should write the data. We should enable this Spark streaming dynamically, right? So to enable the Spark streaming, we should copy this code, this section of the code, okay, and write the data. So let me create another notebook. You can directly click on create, and this time I'm going to rename this notebook as bronze layer. So this I'm creating to feed the data bronze layer, but this time I'm trying to feed it dynamically, right? Something like that. Okay. So what we need to do, we need to create a parameter. So let's create a parameter. How to create a parameter? I'm simply creating, okay, without writing any code. So I'm just giving like file name, right? That's it. I'm not giving any value right now. Okay. So what we should do, we should first, okay, we should first write this heading, and we can write that Spark stream read, correct? Okay, and let me open this one more tab, and I can copy the existing code from branch layer instead of writing from the scratch. So this is the code. Okay, I can copy and I can paste it here. So you can see how we are enabling this Spark read. So Spark read stream cloud files. This is already explained in the previous section. So right now we are doing it for orders. So in place of order, what I should replace? I should replace this parameter, file name, and that parameter should be under this curly, and I should make this format string. Keep format string before double quotes, right? Because I'm using this parameter in this string inside this double quotes. So F should be before this, before start of this double quote, right? Similarly, this order should be replaced with the help of file name. That should also be in curly brackets. Within these curly brackets, you will be using this parameter, and before this double quotes, you have to put F format string F, right? So this is the only change you have to do. And if you want to see right now what is the current situation, because for orders we have done without making without with a static approach, not dynamic approach. So checkpoint folder underscore order folder is created, and this has created, right? So to once you got this code triggered, what will happen? It will initiate the Spark stream, and it will create these things, right? So let me first connect to my server. It's connected. Okay, and let me run this. Let me run this. So once I trigger this, you can go and refresh this. Still running. Okay, it's saying file name is not defined. Okay, why file name is not defined. Hmm. Okay, okay. Why? Because I connected the server right now. I created this parameter before connecting this server. That's the problem. Okay. So let me remove this. Okay. And instead of that, we can just create manually also with the help of db utils. Otherwise, you can create as it is. So I'm using this db utils dot widget dot txt dot, sorry, not dot, and it will be file underscore name. Okay, and this time I'm not giving any blank value, so that's it. Okay, okay, it should be sc db utils. Fine, then I will execute it. Hmm, attribute error. Oh, widgets. Sorry, widgets, it should be widgets. Yeah, makes sense. So let me rerun this. Okay, this is done. And okay, okay. This is created, but I need to copy the column or copy this parameter value within one uh, variable. Okay. So what I should do, I should use this dbutils dot widgets dot get. This time I will use get option because I'm trying to get the value within this file name. And again, I missed b. I don't know. It's problem. Okay. Then what I will do, I will use this copied underscore, let's say copy this under p underscore file underscore name. Okay, correct. So whatever value I would be having, it will be copied, right? And what I should do, I should make this as p underscore, right? I should change this as p underscore. Okay, but my value is blank, correct? So if I execute that, it will again throw an error. It has not done anything, never thrown an error, but actually my value is blank. If you want to run this, the value is blank. Okay, so if I keep this as orders, so order table is already there. See, it has created with blank checkpoint orders only. Got it? So ideally it should be deleted. Okay, okay. So in the same scenario, let's copy the another code to write the stream. This is the code to write the stream. And if I just paste the right string code, what I should do, I should make this changes, the same changes. Okay, and I should make it f, right, and I should make it f. Okay, and in place of orders I should be, okay, correct. This is done. So let's say this time order, this is orders. If I click on write the stream, the stream is initialized, correct? But because we are maintaining for orders table, so orders table don't have any new records. So you can see, if I refresh this, 12:35, it's again showing blank value. Why? Let me check. Let me check why it is showing blank value. It should not show. Okay, because because we have not triggered this one. Okay, let me delete this folder. Let me delete this folder, checkpoint folder, and rerun both the things, or maybe rerun all. Run all. Okay, let's run all. So both the things done. Third is also done. And let's see what's happening here. See, so because this pop-up has given orders, we can also type orders as a by default value, but this is a window. So now we can see how we parameterized our Spark streaming autoloader, right? But how to pass the value within this parameter? Do I need to, pass it for customer? Do I need to pass it for product or region? Right? So we have easily made this notebook dynamic. We have made this notebook dynamic with the help of widgets, or you can say parameters, right? But how to pass the value? How to pass the value? Okay, one by one. So right now we are doing it manually, but we can do it with the help of similar things that we have achieved in Azure Data Factory. We have used for each loop, right? So how to do this stuff here? So first of all, we should create a different notebook which is known as parameters. Okay, we have to create an array. We have, so if you remember our, okay, let me recall what we have learned in Azure Databricks. Sorry, Azure Data Factory. So in Azure Data Factory, if you remember, we have something known as get metadata activity. Okay, and we have used this get metadata activity to create list of files. So for example, if we have something known as input containers, and within this input container, we have used this activity to create list of files. So once list is created, list is having several items. Okay, so items like, uh, just hold on. So get metadata activity, we have created list of files. So now we will create the similar kind of list using one another notebook. Okay, so we will create an array basically. So we have a parameter name as file name, correct? So this file name value we can put like orders. If we want to load for customer, we can put customers. If we have to load for region, we can put region. If we have to load for product, we can keep the value as products. But how to create the list? So file name should come from an array, and this is the array we have to create. If we want to put more values within this array, we can put that value within this array. So if we have 5 more files arrive, we can just add the new elements within this array. So we should create a notebook which is known as array, or we can create it as list of files, something like that. Okay, got it? So what we should do? We should simply go there. Oh, this is done. Let me duplicate this session, duplicate it. Okay. And I can go to workbook. In this, I can create a notebook, and this time I can make this notebook as file list, something like that, correct? Here I can create an array. So what I can do, I can create list equals to something like that. An array starts with square brackets. Okay. So within this square brackets, if I put first element, I will use curly brackets. Okay. And I can name the file name because this is what we are using. Okay. And I can use colon. And what's the value? Value is orders. Okay. This is first element. So it will separate with the help of semicolon. Second element, again curly brackets. Again, I will use file name. It is giving me the options. Okay. It is giving me exactly what I want. Okay. So Databricks is very smart. If I put another, it will give me products because it knows, right? Okay. So I am having only three elements because the region I already loaded, right? Okay, let's have three elements. Fine. So we have created a list. So my list is ready. Okay. Now I have to write one more section of the code here because I have to input this list in for each loop, right? So if if my list is created, okay, so I have to input this list one by one in a for each loop, and to input that, what I will do, I will create one db utils which is known as job task values, because I want to create a workflow, a pipeline, the similar kind of pipeline that we have created in Azure Data Factory. The similar kind of pipeline we can create here also. How we can create? You can see this option as workflows. Here we call this as a workflow. So in this workflow, the output of this list should go in the input to the job list. So what we can do, we can use this db utils once again dot. This time we will put jobs. So inside jobs, we are going to put that, and we are going to put there are tasks. So if you remember, the difference between Azure Data Factory and Azure Databricks is we are creating activity like copy activity, metadata activity, for each activity. These are activities, right? Activity. But in Databricks, we call this as a task, first of all. Activity is known as task. Okay. And pipelines known as jobs. Okay, so right now we will use this command dbutils job dot task values. Okay, so we are going to set the task values. Okay, and what we can give any name, like we can give output list. Okay, and we have created, so all the array we have wrapped as output list. We have created a wrapper. Okay, so that we can pass easily. Okay, so this list we have taken as output list, and we are copying this list inside this wrapper, right? Okay, so this is done. So let me, okay, I need to connect this. Okay, and once it is connected, we need to run both. So we have triggered. So list is ready. Once list is ready, we have set our We have wrapped this array list with the name as output underscore list. Okay. Correct. It's still running, I believe. It is still running. I should create one by one. Okay. Okay. Sorry. My mistake. A very big mistake. Okay. It should not be semicolon. It should be comma, because semicolon will end the list, right? Okay. It should be comma. My mistake. So let me execute one by one. So this will create the list, and this list will be ready, is now created. Okay. This list is ready. uh, and now I have to make this command, this list wrapped under output list. Simple. And why we are wrapping this list? Because we should make this list entered in the job task. Okay. Now finally we are good to create a workflow. This is known as DLT pipelines, delta lakehouse delta table pipelines. Okay. This is very interesting. Now what I can do, I can create a job. I can hit and create a job. And once I can create a job, I can give a name to the job. So what name I should give? I can give like bronze, okay, delta job, something like that. Or bronze incremental load, you can say. Incremental load. Okay, fine. Now we should create tasks. These are known as tasks. There are two tabs in it. Run task. Okay, here you can see other details. Now you should click this is the task which is not named. So what should be your first task? First task is to find out the list. So how our pipeline should look like, we already discussed the same thing in Azure Data Factory. So if you remember, we are creating get metadata activity. Okay, so I'm having my Azure Data Factory open. Let me, just create this for you, a very a pipeline. Okay, so imagine I'm creating a pipeline pl underscore um, load list of files, right? List of files, something like that. I have created this load. So it will give you a real time understanding. Okay, so I'm trying to create a pipeline in Azure Data Factory. So first thing, I will have to create a list of files available in my, let me add duplicate tab here. Go to home, and I believe my Azure Data Factory storage account is different. I don't know which storage account it is, but let me have a look. How to look? If I go to manage, I can click on this, my storage account. Okay, this is the storage account my link services is pointing to. Okay, so let me see, this is the storage account, and in the storage account I can have a look on the container, input container. Okay, there are so many files, so many files. Okay, okay, anyways, let me find out Okay, no problem. Don't worry. Even if we have so many files, what we can do, we can directly go to our pipeline. We can create a get metadata activity. Simple. That's what we are doing. You already know this. Then we are creating our data set. Okay. In this data set, we are pointing to our input folder where we have so many files. Just click on OK. Okay. Right. So using this, the list has created. Now we are picking the list one by one using for each loop. So we can have this for each loop. We can just input this list to the for each loop. The output of this get metadata will become input to the for each loop. Same thing we are doing it here. Okay. I think we have closed that one. Okay. If you see, same thing we are doing it here. We are having this list created. Okay. And using this command, we are giving output of this list will go as a input to the task value, right? This thing. So right now we are doing same stuff using this notebook. Okay. Now within this for each loop activity, what we can do, we can make it sequential. We can, so you can hit on add input and you can use child items. Okay. Okay, I have done one mistake. I did not added the child items here. So child items basically give you the name of the file. Okay. And within this activity, we can simply do and copy the file. Right. So this is the structure we are following. So the only reason why I showed you this, so that you should know that initially we are creating the list of entities. Then we are going for each loop to pick the data, values from this list and use in our copy activity. Okay, this is what we are doing. So we will not put more effort in building this ADF pipeline because our main agenda will be, deviated. So basically, to create the list, what we should do, we should make like the name of the task is list of files. Okay. So in this list of file, which notebook we should point to? We should point to file underscore list. Okay. So definitely we are using notebook here. And what is the source? We can go to source. And from here you can see the path. This is the path. This is the one you have to select. Okay. Now compute is serverless. This is what you are connecting. Do you have any parameter here? Are you using any parameter? You're not using. Yes. So no parameter. Nothing you have to add. You should hit on create task. You can make your space bigger, size bigger by hiding this. Okay. Okay. Now, one activity or one task is done. What is the next? You need to click on add task and add another notebook because you are uh, writing whatever you want. You're writing in a notebook. Okay. Okay. So this is your notebook. First of all, this notebook you want to connect first. Forget about for each for time being. Forget, just think that you have your first entry and how to write the first entry. You will write the first entry using this notebook, right? correct? You have your parameter defined within this notebook, copied the parameter within this variable, and you're using this variable in this format, use the help of format string. Agreed? Okay. So this notebook is help to write the data using Spark streaming approach, using autoloader approach. Correct. So what you should do, you should just give a name. What name we should write? We should give a name like branch underscore auto load. Branch auto load. Correct? Simple. And we are selecting the path. So my path is, where is the path? Okay, I will go here. In this, I will write, what is the name of this notebook? Dynamically, right? This is the notebook. Okay. Then compute, succeed. Now tell me, this notebook is having some parameter or not? This time it is having file underscore name, right? So what we should do, we should add this as a parameter. Okay, and we have to pass the value of this parameter as well, right? So if I click on add, I should give exactly same name. Otherwise, it will create a problem. So let me copy from here. I can type it also, but just for your demo, I'm just copying it. Okay. So now talking about value, what value I should put? You see, the value is orders, but I can put the orders, no problem. But this will only run for orders, right? This will not run on the basis of array, correct? So leave for the time being. Leave as it is. It should be dynamic. So leave for the time being, right? So what we should do, we should click over here and okay, wait. What is this? What is this? Okay, let's create the task for the time being. Okay, just click on fit to viewpoint if you are not able to see. Now see, this is incomplete. Okay, but I have created it. I know what I have to do. I need to introduce for each loop. If you know the basic concept, we have get our list created in the same way we had created in our Azure Data Factory, and we have created our dynamic copy the same way that we have done, but for each is missing because the value right now for this parameter is not given. So this will be given with the help of for each loop, right? So what we should do, we should select this and use this loop over this activity. Okay, so we will hit on this loop over this activity. So this will create a outer box within that. Okay, okay. And what we should, it should be input notebook. Okay. So what kind of type it is? Are we writing any notebook for this? This is for each, right? So if you see, in place of notebook, we have several other things. We have Python script, SQL, DBTL. We have for each as well, right? So we will put use for each. Got it? And what is the input of this for each loop? What is the input of this for each loop? So this is the input. This is giving the input. It is inputting to the outer box. So input is list of all files. Correct. And if you see the list of all files, you have created output underscore list. You have wrapped this entire list under output underscore list. Right? So this is the reason why you wrapped it. Okay. So what you can do, instead of giving any value, see, if I want to just make it static, what I can do? I can write like this, like orders dot. customers dot products, right? Dot region. But it will not make any sense. It is again not dynamic, it's a static kind of thing. Okay. But instead of giving this, what I will do, I will give dynamic reference. So it is giving me suggestions. Let's work on this. So task dot list of files. Why list of files? Because initially it was connected with list of files. So it is coming from this task. Dot values, my value. What is my value? If you see task values, my value is this output list, output underscore list, right? So I will copy from this, and instead of my value I will paste this output underscore list. Okay, so it should be, the name should be same, whatever name you are giving it should be same. Okay, now what I can do, I can create the task, right? You can check out all other options. No more, nothing is required, everything is all set. We can create and save task. Now your for each loop is done. Now what you should do, you should connect for each loop with your write activity, right? How to connect? Now here you have to select on this insert dynamic. You got it? And you have to pass the value. Okay, you have to select on this insert dynamics, and you have to pass input, the array value for each input, right? So what is the array value? If you see, if you have selected this list, it means you have passed this entire array, correct? And within this array, what is the value you are looking for? You are looking for file underscore name. So after, so we have input, we have okay, we can select input, and within this input, we what we can do, we can put dot. You know, the same thing we have done in our Azure Data Factory. We have kept dot, and after dot we will use this file name, correct? So now it is done. Now what you can do, you can click on save task. Okay, we'll wait for, okay, so this is done. Okay, now you can run the job. Okay, so your job is done. And because it will run one time, why? Because you have mentioned in your this Spark stream to run once. I'm just reconfirming. Otherwise, if you want to process this for after 10 seconds, you can do that, correct? But let's not do that because this is your free account. Okay, so let me run this now. So at the moment you run, you can view the run. Okay, and you can see it's running. This stream has started. It has created, it is running the notebook, and if it is running the notebook, it means it is creating the array, and it is wrapping that array in one you can say variable output underscore files. Once it will be completed, this will start. It's taking time, I don't know why. It should not take so much of time, but it's okay. We are using serverless pool. It started, it's completed actually, and this has started pending. You can see schedule once, correct? So what it is doing actually, it is going inside the source, it is reading one by one the data inside it, and it is writing the first file. In orders, okay, in orders there are two files. Okay, in products it is writing the first, reading the first file. In region it is reading the first file. Correct. So we are not creating any single individual notebooks for every file, right? We have created a dynamic notebook and created a dynamic pipeline which will load all the data within this container to the bronze layer, right? So if you have hundred of files, thousands of files, you don't have to create multiple notebooks or multiple pipelines. Okay, it's still running. If you want to see the data, again I have to check my SSACL. Okay, this is my container name. Okay, yeah, this is the container name. And if I go to branch, I can see customer and order is completed and other one is still pending. Okay, it's still running. Okay, this is done. Now, if you want, you can refresh this and you will see all the data is there. Customer, order and products. Okay, got it? Now you can, if you want to read the data, whether data is there or not, because Parquet file, you have to read the data from here. You cannot just simply go and read it. So we already created one notebook to read the data dynamically, right? Let's see which notebook was this. We can go to recent and we can see how to create parameter. Here we have created this notebook, I believe, right? So this is the notebook to read the data. Okay. So what I should do? Okay, products is also there. I can run all. Okay. So it will run one by one. No, it's not running one by one. Okay, no problem. If I have to see the data for customer, I can just type customer, customers, and what I can do, I can run this for customer. How many records are there? 190 records for customer loaded. Okay. If I have to run for products, I can run this for products. See, automatically it is running these products. Okay. This widget, because I'm changing the value within the widget. You can see products, we have 490 records. If I want to run for orders, right, I can just trigger this orders read command and it will give me 10,000 records. Okay. So this has completed our activity of loading this data dynamically with the help of widgets and pipelines, Spark streaming. But one thing still has to be tested, and that thing is whether, because we have mentioned incremental load run. Have we done any incremental load? No. We have just initially load the data. We can check the incremental concept once more data is loaded within it, right? So for example, if you see the customer is having one file, right? If you go inside the customer, correct, it is having one file. Okay, and you can see checkpoint customer. In checkpoint customer, you can see offsets. No, not offsets. This is schema location at the red schema. Okay. I think this is sources. Yeah, in sources, you can go inside zero, and in this zero, you can see rocksdb folder. So this is the overall, folder rocksdb, due to which it can load the data only exactly once. Fine. So how to check whether it is handling incremental load or not? I should put more file. I should add more file. Where I should add more file? I should add in the source because it is taking the data from source. In customer, you can see you have only one file, correct? In orders, you have added two files in our previous, test. In products, you have ordered only one file, right? So what we will do, we will add one by one and check what it is doing. So in customer, let's add another file. So what I will do, okay, this is our source. So I'm uploading customer file in the source, and what I will do, I will go to downloads. I believe I have downloaded it, and this is our customer, I believe, right? Yes, this is customer. So customers, this one I'm going to load, upload it. So I added one more file, okay, and you have seen what you have seen. You have seen for customer how many records we are having. Let's check the data first, okay? Customers. Let's check the number of records in customer, and we have how many data we have. Okay, it is reading from source. My mistake. Should not do like this. I'm making the change and making it bronze, okay? So in bronze, how many records we have? We have 109 1990 records. Okay, right now we have this much record. Now what I will do, I will run this pipeline again, simply. Okay, I will go to task and I will click on run now. I will hit on view run. Okay, let's wait for this to be completed. In the meanwhile, okay, this is done. This is still running. So finally, this data load is completed. Now what we should do, we should check the entry once again. So just now we have triggered this command to check the data from branch layer for this customer file, and it was showing like 1990 records, and just to check customer only, we have added, no, I meant to, I should close this. Okay, we have added customer second file, right? So ideally it should increase, and we can see, you know the number of records. What we can do, we can just hit on run and see 10 records is added. It means it only loaded the incremental data, not the entire data. So record count is just added with 10 records. And let's see the branch layer. We are in the source layer. Let's see the branch layer. So in this branch, you can see the customer folder. This is the customer folder, and you can see only two files are there. The file which is just now loaded is this one, and previously it was loaded in this one. You can see the timestamp. Now what we can do, we can add others as well. In our source, we can add for products. So I can hit on product and I can just load data of product and I can rerun this job. Okay. Load. So this product is loaded in source folder. Okay. Now I can check the values for products. So I can change the value here, the parameter value, products. Okay. And I can run this code. So it will give me the current value of product from branch layer, right? And what's the current record count? It's 490. Okay. What I can do, I can again go back to my workflow. Okay. Incremental load, and I can go to task and I can run the task. Okay. I can view. Okay. Again, it is done. So what we can do, initially it is saying 490 records. Let me just rerun and it should say the records is increased. So this has, see, you can see it increased with 10 records. It means this has completed your task of this pipeline in an incremental manner. Okay, that's all. Okay, so let me show you this pipeline once again. You can go to branch layer, you can go to incremental, you can go to task. Okay, and here is the task. So if you see, this is the list of files. Task 1, it is giving input to this one. Okay, and in this there are two blocks. Outer block is this one, inner block is doing activity, and outer block is a for each activity. Okay, got it. Okay. Thank you.